Well, hello, everybody. It's Pastor Steve here with the Greenhaw family. It's Cameron and Christy Greenhaw. We're so excited to be jumping on here today and talking to you about an upcoming event called our Marriage Conference. It's a really exciting event. It's on May 3rd and May 4th. It's going to be, I hope you're marking your calendars for it. Maybe you've seen us promoting it in the worship folder, but it's now in 30 days away. So we're jumping on here today to tell you a little bit about the event and make sure that if you haven't already signed up to be a part of it, that maybe today is the day that you're going to finally click that link, jump in, and be a part of this incredible event. I had the pleasure of being married to a bride who understood the value of making an investment in our marriages. And for 27 years, our marriage, we did things like this. We went to conferences together. We've read books together. We were part of small groups. We watched videos and things that we poured in to make sure that our marriage stayed healthy. And it certainly paid off over the years in good times and in bad
The
times.
key is you and Jana did that even though you weren't necessarily in a broken place. And I just want to throw that out there that while this event is a marriage conference and we're bringing in a ministry called Broken for Better, that's their story.
Mhm.
It might not be your story, but it doesn't mean the truth that is shared there is going to be any less relevant for you.
Wow.
And we're not in a season where we're broken, but by God's grace, I think it's because we make the investment in going to a lot of things like this. And hopefully that helps us keep from being broken very often because we're always on the front end of things, at least we're trying to be. And so this is not just if your marriage is in shambles or if you're at the edge of calling it quits. We're in a good spot right now and we'd like to stay there. So Let's nurture our marriage. Let's keep it as good as it is.
Yeah. Wow. That's really well said. That's such a good point to make because sometimes we look at things like this and we think, well, our marriage is good. So why do we need to do that? So really, depending on where you are right now, you may be in a difficult season or you may be in such a great season in your marriage, but we really want to encourage you. This is for all seasons. The way the marriage event is broken up, Friday night is going to be really kind of a fun date night experience. There's a high quality dinner. We'll have live music on stage. The couple who's facilitating our event is Kurt and Danette Share. They're really a very transparent couple, high energy couple. They're a fun couple to be around. Very contagious spirit. They'll share their story. It has some highs and some really hard lows in it, but along the way, they bring a lot of levity and humor back into their story as well. But then we'll also take a look and talk about kind of our relationship with the Lord. Because before we can really look to each other and talk about what we need from each other, we need to make sure that we're getting the right things from God first. And so the first night's really about their testimony and their story and about our vertical relationship with God before we seek those horizontal relationships with one another. And so then Saturday, we come back for the second part of the conference, which is more of the workshop part of the conference. And so Saturday will be kind of the nuts and bolts, things about our communication, some stuff on finance, our intimacy, those relational things that you kind of would expect at every marriage conference that you go to. And those are certainly very helpful and practical. So again, whether you're going through a difficult season in your marriage or you're having one of the best seasons of your life within your marriage, we believe that this conference will be absolutely wonderful for you. And we really want to encourage you to be a part of it. We have prayed so hard for God to bring something to our church that would be helpful to marriages. I remember sitting with Cameron and Christy praying in their house and talking about just the marriages of our church, because God's given us a huge burden for the marriages. I remember sitting with the elders of the church praying the same type of prayer and asking God, what would be the best way that we can really minister to you, church family, and giving you something that we think would be beneficial, bring you high value, and be helpful to you. And when God brought us this ministry alongside, we knew this was an answer to prayer. And so we're so excited to be offering this to you. And we would just want to encourage you, don't miss the opportunity to be a part of this marriage conference on May 3rd and May 4th. It is going to be, I believe, one of the greatest experiences this year that you can do for your marriage. I promise you that if you're a part of this experience, you will not regret it. It's going to be a great, great experience.
Pastor Steve, I would say, while you won't regret coming, I am certain of that, there's a good chance you might regret not coming.
Oh, wow.
I think there's going to be a lot of hype and a lot of excitement the weekend after this conference. I think small groups are going to have conversations about it. I think Sunday morning, people are going to, oh, remember when Kurt said this, or remember, oh yeah, my husband spit water out of his mouth at that point, or there's going to be a lot of memories from this conference, intimate memories, group memories, we're going to be at table settings. And I hurt for the people who are going to miss that. I hurt for the ones who are going to hear those stories and think, oh, I should have gone. Why didn't we go? Why did we not prioritize that? And there'll be other conferences, there'll be other opportunities, but this one's guaranteed. This one's right here. It's on the calendar. It's in front of us, and you have a chance. And you also mentioned, it has intimacy and finances and communication and those things that you'd expect at a marriage conference. Don't let that be a deterrent and think, oh, we've been to a marriage conference before, because we have been to a lot of marriage conferences. And every time we say, wow, maybe we didn't learn something new, but we were reminded of something that we forgot. We might not hear the first time, oh, that was so fresh, but it was something we needed to be reminded of.
When you make that decision to go to a conference, you're telling the Lord, we're putting our marriage in, we want to invest in it. We put this at your feet, and He's always going to respond. He's going to respond and pour in even more of how He wants to strengthen your marriage at whatever stage it's at. He's wanting to renew and move you forward in your marriage.
Yeah, taking some intentional time with your spouse is huge. Just so many times, I just think about Jana and I, and that we're just so busy. We run at such a busy pace, and we just oftentimes don't get the time to really slow down. And having an opportunity to spend some unhurried time together in each other's presence is significant. And you can't put a price tag really on that. Of course, a marriage conference, it's not cheap. It's not, I wouldn't say it's, an inexpensive thing to do. It does. This event is $100. It's cost $100 to do it. It's 2 nights. You get a Friday or two days. It's Friday night. That's the date night. It includes 3 meals, so it's really high value. Honestly, you get 3 meals. So Friday night dinner, breakfast Saturday morning, and then a lunch on Saturday afternoon. But how, as a couple, Christy and Cameron, how do you kind of value that? And I'm just kind of asking you. I know you've got kids. What kind of value price tag do you place on that? When you hear $100 for the conference, what does that sound like to you guys?
$100 to be away from our kids for a day and a half sounds great. Sounds like a great deal. No, in all honesty, I was thinking, how much do we spend to go to a sporting event, to get decent seats at a concert anymore? I mean, we go to a Toby Mac concert and we can spend $100 easily on 2 tickets to go to that. And that's 2 or 3 hours on a Friday night.
Or even to go out for dinner for just even more of a lower cost. It's still, the prices have gone up, and we'll spend easily $50, $60, even closer to $100, and it'll be a great evening experience. And in one part, that kind of ends there. But the idea behind the conference is that you'll learn tools and tips, and it's going to be a fun experience. I was talking with Kurt today, and just all the fun things he's planning, the games, the interactions. It's going to be a great experience, and it's going to last. And it's going to be something that's going to be able to produce and continue to grow in your marriage that will last just beyond that weekend.
Yeah, and it's honestly, when's the last time that you sat down with your spouse for a length of time? Sometimes I know for Jana and I, we would go to dinner, and it would take me sometimes the entire dinner to decompress just the day. Has that ever happened to you guys?
Absolutely. We live busy lives, probably not nearly as busy as some of the people watching with us right now. And we live separate lives. While we are in love with each other, his work, my work, our kids, their schedules, we live very separate lives. And so when we come together, it's not an instant, let me share everything on my heart with you. That takes some time. And a conference like this allows that time and that space for those things to come up to the surface and for intimacy to be a priority, to actually start to share some of the deeper stuff instead of just, how was the office today? How were the kids today? What's the latest sale at Publix? It gets to those deeper levels. And all of a sudden by Saturday afternoon, I'm sharing something that I've been wanting to share for months, but just haven't felt vulnerable enough to share it.
Wow.
But after several hours alone at a table, hearing all these words of truth wash over us, I'm comfortable finally saying it.
Well, that to me is that's significant, and I know I can speak from personal experience that it takes time to get to that level of intimacy, and that can't be rushed. And so, having some time together is a big deal, you know. And so, listen, if you're sitting here trying to wonder, is this an event that my wife and I need to go to, or my husband and I need to go to? Man, push through the tension, and just sign up. Say yes to it. Yes, it's $100. It's $50 a person. But we want you to be here. You know, space is going to fill up super fast. We have limited seats for this event, but I promise you, it's going to be a high value, great night for you. You know, we are doing our best to make sure that it is something that North Point will be proud of. That we are that we believe that God's going to move in. We've been praying and praying and praying for the Holy Spirit to prepare your heart, and to do something significant in your marriage, in your life, in, you know, as a married couple, but also through your children. And that something will radically happen here at North Pointe Church. I remember, you know, as we prayed just a few weeks ago in our church, we had a special time of prayer for the marriages of our church. We're praying that divorce will be uncommon in North Pointe Church, that we would have a unique church where the marriages of our church would be uniquely strong, and that our children would be able to see the families of our church just model healthy, strong, godly marriages. And it takes us pouring into each other and learning and doing these things for that to happen. And so, as your pastor, as your friend, I just want to challenge you to make some priority in which to do that. There is a cost to do that, but I really think it's worth the effort and it's worth the cost. Now, we've had some questions about childcare. You know, is there childcare provided? And kind of my first touch was absolutely we should do that. But I was given some counsel by the people who are putting on this event. They said, Pastor, hold on, before you just jump to that conclusion, we recommend that you actually don't provide childcare for this event, because of all the places that they go and do this event. They really encourage churches not to, because this is not a situation that's conducive to childcare, because the first night is a date night specific, and they want the couples to be able to come have a date night and not go home with kind of
with a car full of kids.
A car full of kids. You know, you want to treat it like a date night, although you're going to church, and normally you've got your family in the car when you go to church. Don't treat this like another church experience. You want to treat this like a date night experience. So when you come to the church, we're going to have live music. We're going to have a really cool, really nice opportunity for you to have that romantic evening, hopefully set up for yourself when you get home. And so treat it as such. And so get that babysitter and set it up that way. Maybe talk to mom and dad about Saturday and have them watch the kids on Saturday. Let them hang out at the pool. Let them do whatever they need to do. But take care of, you know, let's see if you can get a setup for your children on Saturday, because the other thing is Saturday is from 9 to 3 o'clock. And to have them sitting in a classroom down our hallway, it's just not conducive for that. We don't have that facility. It's great for an hour on a Sunday, but I promise you, your kids do not want to be back in a classroom from 9 to 3 o'clock here in the kids' hallway of North Pointe Church from 9 to 3 o'clock and then come back on Sunday. That's not what they want. It's not good for them. It's not honoring them. And so we'll need to make an investment for the childcare side of that thing. But here's another great alternative, is that you can invest in maybe getting a babysitter and paying a high school student and maybe their parent to help sponsor a kid for camp. That's a great way to do that. And again, I'm going back to you, Christy and Cameron, as parents with kids. You know, how do you justify those costs? How does that feel to you guys? As I know you would have to, you know, you'd have to solve that solution. So how do you handle that?
What's funny when you're talking about the date night, I can't recall a single date night where we took our kids with us. You just sit on that table over there, and those weren't too romantic. But you need to have that separate time, the time and the space to be able just to decompress, as we talked about, and just to.
And it's good for the kids. Honestly, our older 3 kids have been through years of us paying someone or asking grandma and grandpa to keep them for a long day or a weekend. And now those older kids are at the point where they want us to go on date nights. They know the value. They know we're better parents because of it. They like us more when we go on date nights. And so if you have ones who are 3, 5, 7 years old, do it, make the investment, because you're training their hearts on what marriage should look like. You're setting them up already to expect that their spouse will go on a date night with them, that they'll get to leave their kids behind for a day or two, that, that's what good marriages do.
Yeah.
So it's an investment all around.
Yeah, absolutely. Janet and I had date night every Thursday night. We locked that in and we went and we figured out how to do it. It was tough. It was hard financially. Sometimes it was our in-laws and my parents that watched, and sometimes we paid for a babysitter. It doesn't always work, and I get it. It's very expensive to do that. And so we have compassion. It's hard sometimes to pull it off. But again, make an investment in your marriage.
Just maybe throw out Mother's Day is the very next weekend. This would be an awesome Mother's Day gift. I would love it. Like if I was a wife and my husband said, you know what, for Mother's Day this year, I'm going to pay for a sitter. I'm going to pay for this conference. We're going. I would say, thank you. I mean, we are. So he is. So thank you. I appreciate it. This is important. As women, we want time away from our kids. We want to be alone with our husbands for a day or two. We want that.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Don't forget the chocolate, I'm sure too, but well, awesome. Well, hey, listen, guys, thank you for taking time to listen to this video. We pray that it's done some help in encouraging you, kind of opening your eyes to what this conference is about, and putting some faces to some names. When you think of the Greenhaws, when you see them on Sundays, there are our prayer team coordinators. So oftentimes you'll see them down in the front of the church at the end of every service. If you've got any questions about the event, they're going to be our hosts and facilitators for the marriage conference. And so there you go, your go-to people for questions this next 30 days as we're heading into this event. And so come talk to me or them any Sunday, and they'll get you any questions or answer any questions that you might have. Anyone on my staff as well. But you can go to the link all throughout this video. There's been a link at the bottom of the screen telling you how to register and details about the event. The email that you just received, the details are there as well. You can click on that. You don't have to run, but you do got to hurry. Jump on that link and register today to get signed up. But don't miss it, because I'm telling you, space is going to fill up quick. As I said, you're not going to regret being a part of this. And as Christy said, but you might regret not being a part of it. So let's make sure that you're a part of the people who are never going to regret going. Okay. And so I love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. And we can't wait to see you at the marriage conference on May 3rd and 4th here at North Pointe Church. It's going to be incredible. We'll see you guys soon. God bless.